The Doomsday Project, a detailed picture of Britain with the help of thousands of children. Hello again. After 2 years' work by 1 million people, the Doomsday Project has finally been completed. It's the first thorough survey of Britain for 900 years. Information from every part of the country, much of it collected by school children, has been put onto a special video disc system. The organisers say it's a record for the future of what life in Britain was like in 1986. Today, the discs went on show for the first time. Roger Finn reports.
The first survey of Britain was the Doomsday book, made in 1086. 2 years ago, school children from 14,000 schools helped to collect information about their local areas for the second Doomsday project. It was all put onto video discs to be played on a computer system specially invented for the project. Mike Tibbett, the project's assistant editor, showed how the system lets people track down whatever they want, including the information collected by school children.
Let's have a look at some of that now. For example, if I zoom into southern Britain here and then go up to Lancaster, we keep on going, zooming into larger and larger scale maps. And if I go into somewhere in the northwest, I just chose that area because I noticed there's a place here called Craven View, but the main towns are Arkholme and Melling, and we can see photographs of this area taken by the local school. This is one of 3 photographs of views, and these are in addition to quite a lot of text which they've also written, again on subjects that they've chosen, describing their life and times, including things, for example, like children's interests in 1985, which is expressed very much in the local children's own words.
I like riding my BMX bike. In winter we like to sledge on till bags, build snowmen and have snowball fights.
All sorts of statistical information is also stored on the discs, and there are extracts from news programmes, including this report on the first London Marathon. There are 24,000 maps and tens of millions of bits of information. It would take 7 years to see everything on the discs. They could be used by schools, public libraries, and perhaps by businesses too.
It's not just the Doomsday project that's being launched today, but a whole new way of getting information. This special disc and the computers that read it could be seen as the first books made for the libraries of the future.
Let's take a look at my area and see what we can find. The links to this emulation are listed in the information below. So, if you go to the doomsday.computinghistory.org.uk webpage, it will bring up the following information on the screen. So, as you can see, it's all based via the web, so you don't need to install any emulation or anything like that. So, you've got the 3 discs, you've got the Community North disc, the Community South disc, which obviously was the same disc, but it was just side A and B, and the National disc. So, the area that I'm going to be looking at is the area for me, which is my area, which is on the Community South disc. And it will bring up this picture. So if you go to the full screen option at the right hand side, you can click on that and it will actually bring up the full screen, so it fills the screen. So I'd never actually seen any of this information until a few years ago when I went to a computer show in Blackpool called Replay, where they had the actual machine set up, and I'll insert a picture just here of me with my article, if you like, but from back then. So that was the first time I ever saw it. So it wasn't something that you saw very often, even as a child when you put it on. I think it did tour the schools, but I cannot remember it coming to our school. I might have left at that point. So obviously you move the mouse pointer with your mouse. It's a bit off, but it's fine. So if I click on the area you want to look at, and you can just select where you want to go. So I know I'm around about that area. So as you can see, it brings up like an ordnance survey map of your area. So if I go over here to this area here, so I went to Shuttlewood Primary School, which is down here. You can click on to see a photo of what so the photo it brings up for this area is the old Netherthorpe school photo, but you can come out of that. So if you go back to the map, click on that, you can actually zoom out as well, I believe. I think if you click on out it zooms out. So if you go to Bolsover, which is my local town, again you can click on photo and it will bring up a different photo. So the photo is a view from Hillstown looking north to east, so that's looking over the fields. Clear that again, go back to the map. It's very intuitive for its time, really. So I'll say you can see different photos from the area. So there we go, that's looking at Bolsover from the Doe Valley. So the pit there and the castle on the hill. Obviously the pit's all gone now, so that's all changed since this was done. So we'll go back to the map and then go out, zoom out a bit. Ooh. So we can go back to the area that, so again, so then if you go to text, it brings up a list of texts that were typed by school children at the time. Now if you move it down, you can see near the bottom, number 18, there's one that says Religion, Jehovah's Witnesses. So this is my article that I wrote with a friend called Sarah, all about Jehovah's Witnesses and what we did back then. Obviously this has all changed now because I'm no longer a witness, so I'm not really religious at all, to be honest. But it's fascinating how you can just look back at history. If you go back to the index as well, there's quite a few things that have been written by different people. So there's one written about the Girl Guides. As you click on that and it brings it up, and that's by somebody else how I know, Sarah. A lot of these names are all people I went to school with, so I do know the names as well. And that tells us about how there's different names for the troops and different patrols, and they went how in 1985 they went to an event at Chatsworth with Princess Margaret, I believe. It's just a fascinating capture of history, I think, as well. So entertainment and media, I say I've not read some of these, so this talks about video libraries, cinemas, computer shops, discos and pubs. There was little of any, which was interesting back in the day. Our survey on television programs showed that the following to be the most popular programs: Calendar, which is a local news program; Coronation Street and Crossroads. Crossroads doesn't exist anymore. Quizzes were next, followed by comedy, then a sports program. When asked to choose between watching a play, a film, live sport, the news, or a comedy, most people chose a film. Fascinating. It's obviously like a capture of the area, isn't it? So mining at Markham, so it's a very big mining town where we are, obviously. So this talks about just after the strike and all about how he wanted to close down some of the pits. Again, it's a capture of history of what was happening. Markham Colliery is the biggest pit in our area, and there is another pit at Stamford. There was also one at Bolsover as well. The clearest evidence of mining in the area is that huge slurry tips of mine waste that have now been grassed over in part. Several of these tips can be seen in the area. Fascinating read, like I say. So if you are interested in this, like I say, just go onto the website that I've shown. You might be able to select your area, and you should be able to look at all different things that were written. Maps, you've put something on there. If you did, comment below. My pigeons and I. This talks about a person who liked his pigeons by the look of it. He's won 3 races for me. The Dutchester and the short race. So you can come out, if you click on the map, and you can go to different areas as well. You don't have to just stay to your local area. So you can go to like Shirebrook, which is a local town, and see what photo we've got there. So this is a superstore in Mansfield Woodhouse. Again, it was to capture what we lived like at that period in time. It's not like today where everything's all over the internet. You get thousands of pictures. It was all in books mainly then. So yeah, I just thought I'd share that with you. I found it really interesting, and if you find it interesting too, then please give it a thumbs up and a like. Go on there, see if you can find anything else about your area. So thank you for watching, and I shall see you again soon. If you enjoyed this video, then please like and subscribe. Also, for more up-to-date information, please follow my Facebook page.